All right, well, a tremendous season for Bishop Luers, and you can say the same thing about the Snyder Panthers. Went all the way up to the state championship undefeated, 14-0, ranked number 2, but boy, did they run into a buzzsaw in number 1. Also 14-0 Lawrence Central. That was just a good football team. They take down the Panthers 39-14.
Yeah, I mean, when you run into a team like that, they were probably the two best teams. I think that was a good matchup at the end. But like you say, there was a difference between the two. Big plays just hurt Snyder. But I thought, that team in a lot of ways may have overachieved a little bit because they kept getting better and better as the season went on. They were a team without a star. I talked with Coach Kurt Tittman about that. They had a bunch of great players, not one superstar player, and they worked together so well and just made for a memorable Snyder season.
Well, really, it was two factors in that state championship game that we hadn't seen Snyder involved in yet. A, they were playing on turf for the first time all season, and B, they hadn't played a team that was physically bigger than them all season. All year long, you hear about how dominant that Panthers line is, but boy, do the Bears pack a punch in the trenches.
Well, you big on big, so to speak, when you get to the state 5A championship game, and I think that was a factor as well. A couple breaks go a different way. Maybe it turns into a different game. I think, though, overall, Snyder maybe not quite at the level that Lawrence Central was.
And certainly the last few years when the season's come to an end, there's been questions about Kurt Tittman as the head coach of that program. I think he has cemented his status at this point. Wouldn't you say so?
You know what? I think Kurt's a really strong coach. I think he's a great fit for Snyder in the fact that he came from the Snyder system. He played for Coach Mike Hawley, coach with Russ Isaacs. It's hard to maintain the level that they've been at. It's really hard to be a team that's won or no losses in the regular season year after year. He's done a great job. I think he's made that position his own now.
Certainly a great year for Luers, a great year for Snyder, but really you can say a great year for the SAC overall. Let's not forget Bishop Dwenger, which struggled through the regular season, made that great postseason run. I think the SAC really made a statement as far as where they rank statewide in terms of football this year.
You know what? It's always been one of the best conferences in the state, and they beat up on each other a little bit during the regular season, but Northside, another team that really showed some things as the season went along. I thought overall Fort Wayne football expanded out to some of those teams in the other leagues and other conferences. You spent it out to the Carrolls and to the Heritage and teams that really had strong years. I thought it was a high quality year for Fort Wayne football.
And speaking of teams having strong years and consistently having strong years, you look at how many teams were repeat champions this year, or 3-time champions, or even 4 straight state titles in football. The landscape is really going to change next year. You're going to see a lot of teams moving up.
I'm interested in seeing how that works because you have teams like Luers, you have teams like Lafayette Central Catholic that had won 4 in a row. I mean, for 2 schools to win 4 in a row, you're going to get in that debate about parochial schools versus public schools and that sort of thing. I like what the IHSA has done to try to move them up, see what happens at the next level. For Luers, interesting though, because you lose such a great class and you move up. So
certainly high expectations. We'll have to see how the Knights do. Reggie, another great football season. I think regardless of what the future may hold, we can certainly agree on that.
Oh, no doubt. Terrific year.
Well, basketball season, of course, coming up soon as well. We'll have you covered throughout the upcoming winter, but that'll just about put a bow on the high school football season in 2012. He's Reggie Hayes. I'm Joe Whalen. We'll see you next time.